spaceships and Buckhead. Shawty wanna fuck, I'm like, look, I only want head. Take 5 grams, shit gon' wear off in the morning. Yeah, mushrooms, baby, yeah, you know we on the song.
What? Nigga be running low on them packs, boy. Nigga be running low sometimes. What up, Fly Top? What up, bitch? Okay, look like they did something different on IG. This shit looking different. Maybe I ain't been live in a minute. I don't know. That's what's up. I ain't been on this shit in like a couple weeks, like a week or two. What up, Huncho? I really just wanted to jump on here real quick for a minute, man. Just to somebody sent me a post. Somebody sent me a post of some guy. What's up, Naomi? Somebody sent me a post. I'm gonna see if I can find this shit. I'm gonna pull it up. Let me see if I can find it real quick. One of the homies. What up? What up? Let me see something. I just want to read this post. What up, everybody jumping in? I'm about to roll up real quick. Because I had somebody send me something in my inbox. Got, my homeboy wanted to, he asked me, I got a lot of people in my inbox. I got to hit y'all up. But my man's hit me up and he was asking me my thoughts on this post that this dude had made on Facebook that started going viral. What up, everybody? So this dude made this post the other day. And the post, I'm gonna read it to y'all and I'm gonna respond. I wanna just address what I'm about to read to y'all so y'all can hear what I'm about to say. And y'all can understand how deep this shit go with us in terms of what mushrooms, occultism, all that type of shit. I just wanna read y'all this shit real quick. I'm trying to roll up this goddamn good ass goddamn. Or some good goddamn weed. Good moon rocks real quick. Gotta have them good moon rocks. Gotta have some good gas. Gotta have that good shit like that. Wait, what? I wish this camera could show you how crazy this shit look, man. Wish the camera could show you how crazy that shit look. But I wanted to read this post that this dude made real quick. And he was talking about mushrooms and a lot of people was tagging me in this post. So I'm gonna read y'all this post real quick. So this dude was talking about mushrooms. He said so homie said, on the real, y'all gotta chill on telling people shrooms are good for them, but failing to mention how it'll leave their inner gate open for entities to either exit or enter at will, or how it can trigger a person's psychosis or flare their schizophrenia, and now they're seeing and hearing things that aren't really there and can't turn it off. The things y'all describe that y'all see during y'all trips are basically y'all breaking the veil that everyone's mind isn't equipped to process. It's the reason why in ancient times people went to go see shamans who guided them on their trip, because they had the spiritual gift to make sure your mind, soul didn't wander somewhere it didn't need to be. Since shrooms allow you to see past the veil that protects us from seeing what's going on in the higher dimensions, that means, I'm gonna read that part again. He says, since shrooms allow you to see past the veil that protects us from seeing what's going on in the higher dimensions, that means you are looking at shit you aren't supposed to see, at least while not encased in this 3D shell we call bodies. The Fibonacci sequence, sacred geometry, possibly the true structure of the electromagnetism, etc. He said a lot of y'all people don't know what they're looking at, so they think it's a joke until they come down from their high with several demons ready to fuck their life up. Every trip isn't always what you think it is by the time it's over. And this has zero to do with religion. I'm just using the science and metaphysics to keep it real with y'all. That's what this dude said. So people tag me in this post. And I'm not the type of nigga, like right now, I'm writing a book, dog. That's about as much typing you gonna get out of me, dog. I ain't got time to type. You know what I'm saying? I don't respond to people like that, but I get what the homie trying to say. But, you know, I stay out the way on a lot of things. And I stay out the way on a lot of things that I'm on my business because everybody got a perspective and a reason to say how they feel. But one thing that I don't sit back and be quiet on is mushrooms. And I don't sit back and be quiet on people who deal with spookism when it comes to this mushroom shit. And I'm no high authority on mushrooms, but what I can say is that I've been doing this shit since I was 17, man. And I'm not no little goofy young nigga who was just out here just joyriding with the mushrooms. I've been doing this shit since I was 17. And I understand the psyche of our people. And I understand the psyche of a people who have came out of religion. And I understand the psyche of people who have looked for and searched for truth. And I understand the psyche of people who came out of religion, look for something, right? They look for something to give them meaning to their life. One of the things that I don't like is when people deal with spookism with mushrooms. If you ain't been around enough mushroom trips or done enough mushroom trips, you need to stop talking about shit. I don't give a fuck how spiritual people think they are. Because when we talk about psychedelics, you got conscious motherfuckers who are still scared of mushrooms. You got conscious people who claim to have been conscious all this time, claim to be gods for all this time, and niggas is still scared of mushrooms. And I ain't the type to push no mushrooms on nobody. I'm not the type to do that. But what I'm not the type to do either is let somebody who ain't never had no real walkthrough with psychedelics talk about some shit that they think they know because they know a little bit about metaphysics. That ain't how this shit work. You know what I'm saying? That ain't how this shit work. And I'm just one of those ones that I just gotta talk about it. I gotta keep it 100 because you got people who gonna sit here because they searching for answers and they searching for truth. And they'll go and jump to anybody who say anything that seems to make sense to them, and that's cool. But when you got people who really done the real work, it's a different type of conversation. People who done the work don't seek to restrict nobody. People who do this real work ain't out here looking to give nobody no spookism. If you can't give nobody the real answers, then just say you don't know. You know what I'm saying? If you had a bad trip, my nigga, just say you had a bad trip. You know what I'm saying? Say you had a bad trip instead of put spookism out here. Because how on one hand, if we talk about being multidimensional beings, if we talk about being these spiritual enlightened beings living within multi-dimensions of this mansion or the mind of God, however you want to call it, this dimension, this planet, this earthly realm, the many different worlds that we go through, all is connected. Your awareness to understand the world that you live in is up to you. That's why there's many rooms in this mansion. It's up to you to know though. So when we talk about psychedelics, man, and you know, I usually sit back and I'm real quiet about a lot of things, but one thing I'm not quiet about, my nigga, is psychedelics. I'm not quiet about that. I'm not one of them niggas who gonna sit back and let people just talk. And I don't bother nobody. I don't bother nobody. I mind my business. I let niggas talk they shit. But I ain't the type of nigga to let nobody sit here and say some shit about psychedelics and you don't know what you're talking about. I don't play that. Like, I just don't play that type of shit, my nigga. That ain't flying. Because y'all niggas ain't do enough trips. You niggas ain't do enough trips. And I'm like I said, I'm not no fucking high moral authority or gatekeeper of this shit or nothing. But I can tell you this. You niggas out here talking spookism about mushrooms, you're doing a disservice to the people. because you're not telling them with an adequate amount of experience what they really experiencing. You're not able to tell them that. And so because you're not able to tell them that, you need to be quiet and deal with mushrooms a little bit more. Because you got people who are here listening to you, and I get it. I done dealt with having integration sessions with people who had, quote unquote, you know, schizophrenia or bipolar personality disorder or all these different things that can induce a psychosis. A psychosis can happen from you not taking nothing. So don't think that having a psychosis induced from psychedelics is the same thing as having a psychosis when you are just in your waking state. Because anxiety by itself can induce psychosis. Depression, how many motherfuckers be having panic attacks? That's a psychosis. So what is a psychosis? At the end of the day, psychosis is when you are not able to really understand the phenomenon of your brain coming online at certain times, and you have access to different parts of your brain and the way you process things, so you overreact. You put yourself into a psychosis. You spiral into a psychosis. So what is that? It's a psyche thing. It's a psychological thing. And it's very important that we talk about this type of shit. That's why I be going so hard about this motherfucking occultism, spirituality, and psychology all together. It's very important because, you know, this dude right here said this, and you know, I'm not calling homie name out, none of that shit. It's just the post that went on there. He said, the things y'all describe that y'all see during y'all trips are basically y'all breaking the veil that everyone's mind isn't equipped to process. It's a reason why in ancient times people went to see shamans who guided them on their trip, because they had spiritual gift to make sure your soul and mind didn't wander somewhere it didn't need to be. That's not the case. Knowledge is based on hierarchy. If you look at politics and the way politics work, the reason why that was back then is because we lived in a communal order where every single place that you live on the planet, there was a culture. There was a psychological culture that tied you to each other. Knowledge is based on hierarchy. So if you live in a culture where everybody are not like we are now, we're not in the information age, we're not in the age now, we're coming out of the age of belief and Pisces, where we were tapped into another level. It was not to limit nobody. When we dealt with having shamans, you had people who had jobs. Just like now, you are what you do. So if you are what you do, then nigga, you are what you do. I know I'm a shaman. I know I'm a healer. I was a dope boy for a long time before I realized that there was a shadow side to the light side. Nigga, go from being a dope boy to being a medicine man. How that shit work, right? We the same people. So with that being said, when it comes to psychedelics, you got explorers. You got what they call psychonauts, people who are what we would call now our shamans. We were the ones who are not scared to go further than what the motherfuckers who are like this talking about was scared to go past those boundaries. Somebody got to push the boundaries of consciousness. If you are scared to push the boundaries of consciousness, just say that. And then you stay in the safe zone, and that's fine. It's okay to stay in the safe zone. That's why we had shamans back then. Y'all stay in the safe zone, but you want to get a little bit, you want to go in the kiddie pool? Cool, come on. That's why you got lifeguards. We gonna make sure you're not drowned, but you can have a good time. I'm just not with niggas talking that spookism shit about our people, man. I'm just not with that. So he says, since shrooms allow you to see past the veil that protects us from seeing what's going on in the higher dimensions, that means you are looking at shit you aren't supposed to see, at least not while encased in this 3D shell we call bodies. This let me know somebody ain't take mushrooms. You ain't take mushrooms either. You ain't take mushrooms and you ain't take enough, my nigga. You ain't have enough trips and enough rodeo time, you know, in the ring. You ain't have enough time to really put this experience together to start to articulate what these experiences are. You haven't done that. He said a lot of people don't know what they're looking at, so they think it's a joke until they come down from their high with several demons ready to fuck their life up. Every trip isn't always what you think it is by that time it's over. And this has zero to do with religion. I'm just using the science of metaphysics. So this is what this nigga talking about. You know what I'm saying? What up, Sam? What up? What up? What up? What up, Autumn? You know, it's a lot of, like I said, it's just like we not dealing with the spookism. You know what I'm saying? I'm not dealing with the spookism. When it comes to mushrooms, I'm not gonna let people sit back and just talk. Like, I gotta inform the people. Somebody gotta counter that spookism with really reinforcing a spiritual modality of confidence. You have to have confidence and bravery to go to the next levels that we're going with consciousness. You cannot be scared, and you have to understand what's going on. If we're multidimensional beings, everything is connected. So what you are experiencing, you have to realize that truth is stranger than fiction. We live in a magical universe, so everything is supposed to be magical. What gives people psychosis is the fact that motherfuckers try to have all this magical energy in a world that's dormant, and it really restricts you to have that type of consciousness. So you think you're going crazy in a world that is fucking crazy based on the fact that it's trying to act like it's normal. There's nothing normal here. There's nothing normal here. You have to be able to understand what this creative imagination and this flow and the spirit that we got is for. You have to know that. So we ain't dealing with spookism. There's a difference in motherfuckers who talk conscious shit and motherfuckers who talk occultism. I talk occultism, I don't talk conscious shit. Because conscious shit still have a tinge of morality to it. Because you gotta remember our psyche, we came from out of religion. So when people come from out of religion, there's a certain type of stage that people with a certain level of consciousness go through. Nobody skips these stages. You gotta go through them. That's how you know yourself to know what you're talking about. That's why initiation, and you initiate yourself through these processes and you don't skip no steps. You put yourself through that. So you know what you're talking about when you talk to people. You know what I'm saying? You really want to be able to know how this works. You know, somebody responded to me real quick. Hold on a second. Yeah, man. Gang, gang. Confidence gets confused with egotism on the next level. It all comes out in the wash. You know, it's one of these things where, you know, the universe rewards your bravery by removing obstacles out your way for real, for real. That's the archetype of what Ganesha is. Removing obstacles out your way. You have to remember, but you don't forget. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, you know, somebody sent me this shit. So, you know, one of the homies sent me this in the inbox. And he asked me my thoughts on it. I said, he not fully getting what happens. He's still sending out spookism. And, you know, this post went viral. And, you know, over the last couple of days, I got a lot of people who've been hitting me, asking about the little mushroom retreats we got. So, yeah, a lot of people hitting me are interested in mushrooms. And I'm happy people are interested in mushrooms, but I ain't one of them niggas who gonna let niggas talk this spookism shit, man, because I know what the fuck this shit do. I know how many people's lives has been changed by it. I know the work that I've done, as well as my comrades have been doing over the years. And keep in mind, I ain't wearing no badge of tenure in this motherfucker when I say I've been doing this shit since I was 17. I'm just speaking to the fact that I can tell you the psyche of a 17-year-old that's not fully developed, been on his own since he was 16, you know what I'm saying? Living a different type of lifestyle. That shit changed my motherfucking life. I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for that. And the people that I've helped, I never seen no adverse effects on that shit. So when you got niggas who claim they conscious talking about spookism to our people, when our people are looking for ways to heal, and I've been talking about this shit so long that I'm happy to see people talking about it now, and they really getting their healing in. And you got niggas who talk spookism shit, man, we ain't playing no games with that shit. We ain't got time for that no more. Niggas, we got work to do. And if you still talking about spookism to your people, and you're not offering solutions, my nigga, you need to shut up. You gotta offer solutions to the people. So if you understand that consciousness works in a certain way, I've been telling niggas for the last 10 years, okay, now that y'all conscious, what's next, nigga? Yeah, I ain't hear nobody talk about psychedelics. I've been talking about that shit. I just never came out to want to talk about it all the time to push it on nobody, because I'm not a psychedelic pusher, but what I am is an influencer in terms of knowing what this does for our people by giving the truth out. It'd be different if I just talk about psychedelics all day and not give the other side of the shit. The other side is that when you have a bad trip, like I tell anybody, my nigga, if you had a bad trip, to say you had a bad trip, that means you cannot control that shit. You cannot control the feminine. You ain't dealing with the shadow work enough. You ain't dealing with the shadow work enough. Not saying that people who have quote unquote psychological issues such as schizophrenia. Nigga, everybody is schizophrenic when they tap into psychedelics. Everybody are schizophrenic if you understand the term of what it is. But do not go by anything that is of this Western culture. When you understand psychology, it is occultism in the West. It's not no clinical shit. I don't know how many people understand this. Psychology in the West is not clinical. It's not medical. It's occultism. It's always been occultism. It's always been occultism because it always has to do with the psyche. It always had to do with the behavior of the people and how to get back to the soul. So when they study people over here and we live in what we call a socially engineered society, you gotta know how shit work. So you gotta know how shit work. Nigga, I live in Atlanta, nigga. If y'all ever been on the trains in the city somewhere in the metropolitan area, I guarantee you if y'all in New York, y'all in Jersey, y'all in motherfucking Cali, I guarantee y'all that if y'all ride a train or the bus somewhere, you're gonna see a sign in the train station or a billboard or somewhere saying, do you have schizophrenia? Do you have medical issues? Do you need these issues? Do you have that? And they focus on the areas where it's black people at that ask, do you got schizophrenia? Call this number for free trials, free this. Why is that? Because we naturally tapped in. We ain't never been crazy, nigga. Crazy is the chaos of the world, so that's normal. But when you try to be quote unquote normal in a world that is built on chaos, then you are dealing with something that you don't understand when you got people who push spookism on you. What up, my boy? What up? Hey, we going in. And we don't have time for spookism. We have to be honorable and we have to be stand-up motherfuckers when we telling our people about the healing that's been going on with the psychedelics for years that the conscious community is just now getting on. So when you got niggas who are just waking up into the conscious shit, and the reason why I say conscious is because I'm saying it once again, that you can look at the conscious community as if it was a religion if you do not understand what it means to go on this path and really do the work. Anybody who is trying to free themselves is not restricting nobody. Hear me clearly. If you are on the path to freeing yourself, you're not in the business of restricting nobody. You don't restrict nobody because you are freeing yourself. That's an oxymoron. You don't free yourself and then keep others enslaved, keep them bounded. You free everybody by giving them the real. So in his nature, he's trying to get the real. I understand that. I'm just coming with the real and saying, yo, the universe is veiled for a reason because knowledge is based on degrees of understanding. So something that seems bad to somebody, if they don't understand something in the totality of this whole experience called life, then your understanding at that moment and your logic at that moment is only going to deem it bad. But you don't understand that the whole world is experiencing a dream at the same time. And how people process that is based on them understanding their own mind and their own brain. So when we deal with psychedelics, the initial stages of going through psychedelics is going to be based on you understanding that you have to do your work first. Now, it's always work. Now, when I deal with psychedelics, nigga, I have a good time. And see, I'm one of the ones, I'm going to tell you both sides because I've been doing this since I was 17, so I'm going to talk my shit. And it's not a cocky ass shit. It's a nigga, I put in the work. And it's supposed to be a scary thing, but we ain't about to talk no spookism. The journey of dealing with psychedelics, you have to be a brave motherfucker to want to know yourself that much, to want to do the work. You got to be a brave motherfucker. So I never talk down about the experience because it's supposed to be scary in the beginning. It's always scary, nigga. Why is it always scary? And when I say scary, I don't mean scary as in the who. I mean scary in a very awe-inspiring way where you don't know what's going on, but you relinquish yourself to it and you learn to learn. You learn the ways of the mushroom. So when I tell people about mushrooms, I tell them all the time, your whole thing is to learn to think like the mushrooms. Learn to think like the mushroom. What's the particular reason why some people are able to garnish knowledge from psychedelics while others do it for giggles? It's because it's stages to this shit, right? You go through these stages where you have times where you are having a good time and you use it. Like, for example, I'm a real nigga. I'm gonna tell always 100 with the shit. Nigga, there's times where I do psychedelics. And I'm literally doing it to have a fucking good time because all week I've been putting in work, knowing what I was here to do on a spiritual level, that when I deal with psychedelics, I also look at it as a way of going home. It's a way of going home, nigga. This is a motherfucking one-way ticket to Neptune, nigga. That's a one-way ticket to Neptune for me. So when I want to check out of this dimension, I'm gone, nigga. I done put in the work for the weekend. I done put in the work for the week. I'm about to have my time now. So what do I do in my time? I do inventory. I also have fun. If there's shadow work that needs to be done, then I do it. I'm not one of these niggas who will tell you, for example, being politically correct for people who may just start mushrooms, I will say this. Don't do mushrooms off top if you got bad shit going on in this week right now. If you're new to mushrooms, if you had a bad couple weeks, my nigga, that's politically speaking. Because I'm going to think about everybody, and we all grown in this motherfucker, but I'm going to also tell you the real on top of that. Hey, don't do mushrooms when you have a bad couple weeks right now. You want to have a good space of mind just to get used to mushrooms. Then the flip side of that is me. I'm a real one. I deal with dark shadow work for real, intense shadow work for real. I deal with the dark side. And I'm going to tell you as a nigga who been doing it for 17 years, nigga, that's never not a time I want to do mushrooms. Even when it's a bad things going on in my life, I still do them because I face them in that aspect. It's easier for me to do it over time of being able to face anything being on mushrooms. You process things different. That's just me. I'm a wild nigga, but I'm bold enough to do it, and I get the results that is given to me if I'm being bold enough, removing those obstacles out of my way. And I still deal with mushrooms sometimes for shits and giggles. Nigga, that might be a weekend where there is no spiritual reason other than spiritualness. Everything is spiritual. There's no holier than thou reason why some weekends I might do mushrooms, nigga, and just want to sit back and watch twerk videos, nigga. Because I like watching twerk videos. I like watching the Kundalini. I like watching women express themselves through dance because I understand the deeper side of it. The human communicates through dancing, just like the bees. There's a sensual nature to everything. There's a occult side and shadow side of everything. There might be a time where I might eat mushrooms and read books. And why? Because at that time, I know that my ability to perceive everything I'm seeing from these words in this book is traveling through time, and I'm processing it at a deeper level. Then there might be times I might trip mushrooms and want to get away and be out at the beach. I might want to be out in nature. And then there might be a weekend when I might want to have mushrooms and chill with a couple homies and a couple friends. We just having a kickback. And in the process of all this, it's all spiritual. And it's about how you deal with it, because you got to know yourself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, twerk. Yeah, real shit. Hey, look, I'm a real nigga, dog. I'm going to tell the motherfucking shit 100. I'll trip mushrooms and watch twerk videos, nigga, and that will be one of the best enlightening motherfucking goddamn trips I ever have. Why is that? Because I'm just watching the beautiful black woman just dance. Watching her sensual nature. Knowing that this is all connected because everything is sexual in this dimension. Because it's all creative and it's all spiritual force. So, talking about the metaphysics of it and keeping it real, niggas talking about you coming down with demons and shit, like, man, come on, we ain't about to play that, man. We're not about to play that game with our people right now when we need this motherfucking shit. We in a time where everything looks totally different and we're ushering in a new reality. And the last thing we need right now is niggas to be scared of doing some healing. We don't got time for that shit. And I'm not one of them niggas who gonna sit around and let people talk that type of shit. You know, I'm not that type of dude, man. I'm not, especially with this. I keep my mouth closed on a lot of shit. Niggas ask me about, how you feel about this? How you feel about it? Man, I don't say nothing about none of that. I let everybody have their way. But when it comes to healing, and it comes to really doing this work with psychedelics, this ain't the time for spookism. And so, salute to everybody that's in this motherfucker, you know, share this shit, post this shit, retweet it, man, you know, whatever. Because we got to have these real conversations. And these are real conversations we got to have. It ain't about appeasing nobody. It ain't about making nobody feel comfortable or feeling bad. It's about telling the truth. Mushrooms is something that deserves your respect. But when you realize what it is, you are just like the mushrooms. So you take it easy on yourself. You don't beat yourself down. You learn to have fun with them. They are very fun. They get you through a lot of things. They help you decompress. They help you deal with the madness of this world. Your job is to understand that you got to be able to make fun and light and utilize the energy of this dimension. You got to be an alchemist. Everything that's happening at its highest level, no matter when it frustrates us in our human existence, is bigger and deeper than what we expect. But guess what? When you tap into mushrooms, you get to see things deeper, right? You get to see things deeper. How many of y'all may have some shit going on in your life? You may have some shit going on in your life, and then you take mushrooms and you kind of get clarity, or you get clarity and you kind of get an understanding of what direction you need to go in. You know what I'm saying? You get an understanding of how you need to move or how you might need to think. Even if it's your ego that has to take a back seat and the spirit is like, look, nigga, you got work to do. And you honor that by being real enough to say, I accept that. I see what it is. I'm not going to say it ain't scary in the beginning when you on mushrooms. When you go through it, you want to learn them. You want to learn the relationship that you have with mushrooms because it's very symbiotic. And it's been symbiotic for years. So when the homie was talking about, that's why, you know, in the ancient times, people went to go see shamans who guided them on their trip because they had the spiritual gift to make sure your mind and soul didn't wander somewhere else. It's not that. It's that they had enough understanding of how mushrooms work. They have enough understanding of how it works with the psyche. Because see, you got people who understand how mushrooms work in tandem with the psyche and what it does, and that's what we're talking about. Because you got people who don't know that. They just getting into it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't the type of nigga to be trying to, like I said, I ain't no gatekeeper, none of that shit, but man, nigga been on shit I was 17, bro. Like, I cannot stress that enough. I say that shit all the time. Because when you think about 17, nigga, we still young. Nigga, I'm 35, and I still feel young like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But the psyche of a 35-year-old now, or a 30-year-old nigga, or a 25-year-old nigga, taking mushrooms for the first time and having to learn how to deal with the masculine, integrating with the feminine in the spiritual realm, is a different conversation from somebody who may be young and they are on this journey. Now, why am I talking about that? You know, I'm writing this book, right? I'm writing the book called The Science of Sex, the Gangsta Guide to Tantra, right? Right now, I'm talking about so I'm about to go through the structure of the archetypes of the masculine psychology. And I'm about to go through that and talk about that. And I'm also going to talk about the mature masculine as well as the child masculine archetypes of the masculine for the child, right? And one of the reasons why I'm talking about that is because these archetypes mean something, right? The masculine archetypes on the mature level is the king, the warrior, the magician, and the lover. You know, those are the archetypes. So when you're a child, the immature boy archetypes are the divine child, the hero, the precocious child, and the occult child. So these are archetypes that the child has to go through, and this is the masculine I'm talking about right now. Now, why am I talking about this shit? Because the shit deeper than what niggas be thinking they know what they talking about. So I'm talking about a 17-year-old who has what we would call the divine child, the hero, the precocious child. All of these archetypes, you go through it. A 17-year-old going on a mushroom trip because he knows more out in life. You have to be at that level to know what it means to really be receptive to what the universe has to offer you. You have to remain childlike in the psyche, and you also have to be the mature king, the warrior. You have to be the magician and the lover. You really have to be them. So what am I talking about? You got to be an alchemist. That means as men, We understand that we balance the feminine when we also tap into psychedelics. The women also balance their masculine when they tap into psychedelics. So there's a nature of psychedelics that people don't know. And what is that nature? That nature is that when you take psychedelics, you are here to neutralize your ego. You are supposed to be balancing your masculine and your feminine. So when you have a bad trip, if you're a man, you're having a bad trip because you cannot control the feminine. If you are a female and you are having a bad trip, that means the spirit saying you got to get your masculine in order, sweetheart. You're not a nigga right now. You're in a female body, and you got to learn how to flow with your true feminine energy. So when you get into this alignment with the feminine energy, when you tap into mushrooms, if you're a female and you're trying to control that, then you know that these are real psychological issues that you got to deal with and how you understand masculinity. Because you're getting a dose of it. So if these things seem scary to you, and then you start to go into this, what we would call a bad trip, is it really bad that you got to interface with your true self to see that, damn, I got to change some shit, boy. I got to change some shit, boy. God damn, bitch, you out here trying to control everything. You know what I mean? If you a nigga, damn, what else a goddamn bad trip? Boy, I can't control nothing. Yeah, you can't control the feminine. So what do? You know what I'm saying? We got to have these real conversations because I don't like niggas talking this spookism shit, man. I really don't. And I'm going to always stand on that. Because I'm telling y'all a nigga who was doing mushrooms since he was 17. Because niggas wasn't ready for it. The spirit said, we had to put you around white boys who was brave enough because these niggas weren't ready for it. But you brave enough because you ready. You are willing to relinquish control of what you thought you knew versus what you now are being presented with knowing more. So when we deal with these mushroom trips and you see things and you go through these hallucinations or what we call hallucinations, nigga, the whole world is hallucinating. So get in board with it and create what you think creative imagination is. Is there, yeah. Is there a particular strain? The moon rock's hitting. Ooh, the moon rock. Moon rock's hitting, boy. Is there a particular strain recommended for beginners, or is microdosing the best way to go about beginning the journey? I want people to understand there's two different things. Microdosing is when you, for example, I'm gonna show you microdosing. What people would consider microdosing, right? I'm gonna pull out the scale just to show you. Some people would consider microdosing no more than 0.5, 0.6. You know what I'm saying? This right here, 0.7. So microdosing to me would be, this is a 0.7. I would microdose this, and then I would probably eat another one an hour later. So microdosing to me is different. But for regular people, I would say no more than a 0.6, 0.7. And I would say in your beginning strains to try out that's readily available is Golden Teachers. Golden Teachers are real fun. They're real interactive. They give you a nice crash course in what mushrooms are, you know. But in terms of a nice strain to start out with, I would say Golden Teachers because it's readily available. They fruit very easy, you know, and it's a nice yield. Yeah, I might put this on YouTube for sure. There's no bad trip. You meet your other side. That's right. You know what I'm saying? And microdose is king. Yeah. And you know the thing is this. For anybody going on this journey, before you take in all this negative spookism that you hear, go on this journey yourself. Be bold enough. Because you're going to have people who are going to talk spookism. And I want you to be able to discern the difference between people. I want y'all to really hear. I want y'all to hear me clearly. When y'all be around these mushroom conversations, I want you to hear how people talk about mushrooms. I want you to hear how they really talk. Because it's going to tell you a lot about them. And what I mean by that, it's going to tell you a lot about them in terms of how dedicated they are to doing shadow work. Are they somebody who run away from their shadow work? Are they somebody who really, honestly, can tell you the truth about it and tell you it's not going to be easy, but it's worth it? And not put spookism in there and give you confidence to go on that journey with them, because what happens is you realize when we all go on this journey, we make each other better. You know what I'm saying? It's a different type of conversation when you deal with somebody who really dedicated to the work. That's why a nigga who will talk some spookism like that online, I can't fuck with that, bro. I ain't gonna say you capping, but I'm gonna say you got a lot of work to do in terms of experience with mushrooms, because I'm not going, like I said, I'm not here to judge nothing, but you sound like somebody who probably just started doing mushrooms if no more than a year. And you probably didn't have a lot of experiences, and you probably had a few negative experiences, and you probably took a step back because you had some shit. Nigga, I done had bad trips. The first time I tripped mushrooms, I had a bad trip, but I ain't have a bad trip until the end of the trip. I had a bad trip at the end of it because them niggas came down before me, and this is my first time. But they been tripping, and I didn't know at the time, and I went into a psychosis. But my niggas calmed me down. And I sat back and I reassessed, and I was like, oh, I ain't doing mushrooms no more, boy. Fuck that. But the mushroom was like, hey, nah, this is all your thoughts, man. Nah, player, where you going? These are all your thoughts, player. Where you going? Nah, sit back and look at it. Look at it, nigga. Look at it. This your mind, nigga. This your mind. All right, it's mine. All right. And you have to learn. Oh, this is my mind. Okay, I got to mind my thoughts. I got to be aware of more than what I was aware of before. Well, damn, if I wasn't aware of that, and that scared me, but I know it's beneficial, was it really scary? Was it really a bad trip? If I learned something from it? No. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit right there, I just got to talk on, man. I just had to jump on this bitch real quick because I just, man, like I said, man, one thing I open my mouth about is this mushroom talk, dog. I ain't gonna let nobody talk no goofy shit about that. I can't when I know how much work I've been doing, how much healing been happening. I know these experiences. And like I said, man, I ain't here to toot my own horn, none of that shit, dog. But to be doing that shit since you was 17, we have to change the way we look at these things. We're moving into a new society, and we have to get out of the slave mentality on every level. And we have to be brave enough. We have to be very brave enough. So we have to understand these experiences, and we have to talk about them. Because the thing about it is, as a nigga who been doing this shit for goddamn 16, 17 years, 17 years, I'm not gonna let nobody who just came into this shit talk some shit they don't know what they're talking about and give y'all some game that ain't real. I'm not. And everybody got their own perspective, but my nigga, I done helped hundreds and hundreds of people. And I can see the change in people. And yes, you want to have discernment. Yes, you want to have a precaution. You know, because mushrooms definitely deserve to have the respect and adequate understanding of how they really work. But that's up to you to do that job too. Nobody supposed to spoon feed you. You're supposed to go through these experiences. That's the only reason why I know what I know. I'm not out here from no research, reading no book, nigga. I was in the field. Been in the field. Your experience is your best teacher for sure. And we can learn from people when people give us the real game. That's all I care. That's all I care. Everybody do what they want to do. You know, your experiences, your experiences. But I'm not one of them niggas who gonna sit here and ever tell y'all some goofy shit about no motherfucking mushrooms. My nigga, no sir. And I'm not gonna allow nobody to, nigga. I'll go toe to toe with anybody who got some goofy shit to say about mushrooms, nigga. All the time. All the time. Any given time. Yeah, been in the field, feeling it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm nigga passionate about that shit because my life would not be the way it is at this moment if it wasn't for mushrooms. And I can honestly say that. And I can honestly tell you, the first year I was doing mushrooms, I was scared, nigga. I'm 17, nigga. But I knew what it was doing for me, and it took me years. It took me years to be comfortable with being able to do 7-10 gram doses on a regular as a regular thing. And then being comfortable doing 4 or 5 gram doses and be out and about, walking downtown, doing shit, just being able to be out. Like, nigga, this is my world too, so I'm not gonna run away from the world. I'm gonna understand the world. That's my mentality. I got Jupiter in Aquarius, so I'm a scientist out here. I learn through the details of experience. So for me, learning mushrooms is something I do in everything, nigga. I do mushrooms, and I've realized that you got people out here who ain't never do mushrooms talking about this a motherfucking drug. Y'all niggas, this drug, y'all niggas, y'all like crack to say that. Nigga, you goofy. You niggas is scared of work. You niggas is scared of shadow work. If you scared, say you scared, man. That's it. If you had a bad trip, just say you had a bad trip. Learn from it. You know, that's about it. But yeah, man, salute to everybody, man. Anybody got a question before I dip out, man? I'm about to give me some motherfucking Jamaican food, nigga. I need me a motherfucking patty with a cocoa bread, boy. I need it. I need it. I gotta make this sea mouse too, man. Gotta get right real quick. But yeah, man, I just don't want nobody to have no spookism, man, with that shit. I ain't with that. I'm not with spookism. Not for our people. I'm not with none of that shit. Listen to how people talk when they talk about mushrooms. I can't stress that enough. Listen to how people talk about mushrooms, and it's gonna tell you a lot about them. It's gonna tell you a lot about their experiences. And what that's gonna tell you is about a deeper psychological aspect of that person. It's gonna show you how dedicated they are to the spiritual work and how much they care about what looks like ceremony and how much they care what looks like costume. We not in no motherfucking church, my nigga. We in the church of the wild, nigga. So it's about the ritual, for real. It's about the real work, the practicality that comes from this. Nigga, talking about mushrooms, nigga, this shit been on this planet, dog, before motherfucking anything. Motherfucking mycelium, man, it's an intelligence. It's an intergalactic intelligence. And so when people talk crazy about it, I can't let niggas sit there and do that. Took shrooms, that shit had my whole body vibrating and a bunch of other stuff. Hell yeah. My buddy kept crying on his shroom trip. Hey, man, that happened, man. I don't know if my nigga swaying this motherfucker, man. Hey, man, every time I think about that shit, I had my nigga. My shit do not disturb. My nigga ain't never did mushrooms, and he was always like, I don't know. But his birthday came around, he wanted to do mushrooms, and for his birthday, we came up, got an Airbnb, we did mushrooms. This nigga was talking about mushrooms. He's talking shit. That mushroom started kicking his ass. This nigga was laid up in the bed with a shorty, and he thought she was crying. He was like, "Is you crying?" And she's like, "No." That nigga felt his face, and that nigga felt tears running down his eyes. He's like, "Oh, that's me crying." Nigga, I died, nigga, when that nigga, oh my God. I died. This nigga didn't know he was the one crying, nigga. He had so much Capricorn energy bent up, he didn't know he had that release going on. Can we grow shrooms ourselves? Hell yeah, you can. You can definitely grow them yourself. Get some books to learn it. You know, I always give niggas games on books that they can learn it. You know, because you know if you're really into mushrooms and you want to learn it, you'll get into it and you'll see that there's so much information available out there for you to really go on that journey. The Mushroom Growers Manifesto, all types of shit, man. The information is everywhere. Honestly, people still don't see the truth about the technology. Probably won't get it in this lifetime, for sure. Microdosing today, hey, man, shrooms make me cry like a bitch more than they don't. Hey, man, you know, different type of mushrooms bring out different things in you too. And that's what it's about. You know, you got certain mushrooms, like I like the Burmese ones. They very philosophical. You know, on those mushroom trips, those are the mushroom trips where I talk the most. And I can either be by myself and I'm talking to myself, working things out in my mind. Because mushrooms is something that we used to do even as martial artists, as warriors. We always took mushrooms. So a warrior took mushrooms. Because you got to be a strategist out here in the world. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a strategist. A warrior ain't a bully. But a nigga get in your ass real quick, dog. And he'll be a nurturer and a life giver. And a life taker if he got to. That's real game. Well, only thing that scared me was the first time I finally got to my subconscious and saw those spirits waiting on me. Serious work that needs to be done for real for everybody. Yeah. Yeah, man. My friend like to breed mushroom strains together to maximize potency. Yeah, I noticed once you go through the emotional, psychological purge trips, then you really get into the knowledge and downloads. That's right, Blood Moon. And that's what I mean when I talk about my experiences, and I make sure I always put a disclaimer when I talk about what I do with mushrooms, because we always doing work, but when you get through those stages where you can really turn up, that's when you're having fun. You know, I look at it just like a swimming pool. You know, when you in 3, 4 feet, 5 feet, you know, you in the pool, you know, you can move around a little bit, float on your back, nigga. Got them dog paddle, all type of shit. But when you really want to start going deep and you want to do cannonballs, flip, nigga, go to the other side, cross that rope, nigga, and go into 8 feet. It's like going deep into your subconscious when you start to go deeper. But you can play around a lot more too. And that's what I mean. You know, I'll play around with it. I'll go out in nature and have a good time. You know, 8 grams, 10 grams, and be out in nature tripping balls, boy, having a fucking ball, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But then I also take 7 grams and sit back and watch motherfucking twerk videos, or I might be with a, you know, just in a zone where I just want to have fun, nigga. Good music. I might be in this bitch doing Tai Chi, nigga. I might be in this bitch doing Tai Chi, smoking a motherfucking backwood, nigga, with the music banging. All types of shit, because you become the ritual. You become the ritual. And you learn how to harmonize with mushrooms, and you learn how to harmonize with your environment. So that's what it's all about. When I went to Colombia, most of my friends made tea with shrooms on the deli. Yeah, man, you can do all types of shit. You have mixed feelings about that practice. Which practice, Cake Club? Which practice you got hang-ups on? I'm happy we can have this conversation, because I always wanted to be an open space where people could talk about mushrooms. Potency. Just one strain at a time. You know, once you start to tap into mushrooms, you can mix them. I was just telling my friend, her, like, you know, I suggest when you get multiple mushrooms, or you got access to multiple mushrooms, learn each mushroom strain first. You know, really dedicate your time to really understanding this experiences that you have with mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? Eat one strain one day, you know what I'm saying? Learn that strain, see how it makes you feel, see what it does. You know, do a shroom report, if you will. Or even if you are the type of person like me, you know, I do it all in my mind, where while I'm in the experience, I still document the nature of the mushroom. And then from there, I realized what type of mushroom this will help in terms of healing people, right? I look at these experiences, I go through those, I'm like, okay, this mushroom is good for this. This mushroom is good for that. This mushroom helps with this. And then you become the alchemist. Then you can learn to mix them hoes. You know what I'm saying? I be mixing my shit, boy. I might mix the albinos with the motherfucking Mazatepics, man. You know what I'm saying? That's my favorite combination. You know? Or I might mix the golden teachers with the albinos. You know what I'm saying? Or I might mix the golden teachers with the penis envies. You know what I'm saying? You play with it once you kind of know how all these mushrooms work, so you don't overwhelm yourself with these senses that you start to tap back into. You know? It's just a journey, man. It's just a real journey that you learn to go on. And having those conversations is what it's all about. It's not about spookism, man. Ain't about no spookism. We ain't in the business of that. Yeah, all them dumb albinos, man. Them albinos will get you every time. Yeah. I mean, like, my friends cross many strains together to create new strains just to get as high as possible. Oh, yeah. That's cool. You know, we out here. The whole world is a science lab. Yeah. Tap in. If you got access to mushrooms, you know, tap in. And, you know, if you need them, holla. You know, but it's one of those things where you really just want to have advice from people who really know what they're talking about. Kind of like the same time I went live the other week where I was talking about, I wouldn't necessarily buy mushrooms from somebody who don't take mushrooms and know about mushrooms, because you don't know what you get. You don't know what strain it is. They may not even know. And you might have questions, and you can't talk to somebody who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You know, so it's one of those things where you just kind of want to be mindful of, like, how this mushroom culture is booming right now in terms of people now waking up to the shit. So you know how we is, we black people, nigga. Everything we do, we influence. So when conscious niggas is now talking more readily about it, and you got rappers like Money Man and other niggas is talking about it, it's starting to become more of a conversational thing in the mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Even around people who may have never did it before. And you got people who are now thinking about doing them. They never did it before and they want to do them. And so they're looking for information. And the last thing our people need is spookism. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm saying. You know, shroom trips have become more and more challenging as a result. Yeah, keep going, bro. Keep going, man. It's supposed to challenge you. Mushrooms is supposed to challenge you. You know, you have these pockets where you get nice and comfortable, but then you get to a new stage where you go to them for insight. So when you start to look at the mushrooms as the answer, in terms of, let me have access to a high level of my brain to process what I'm experiencing in this real world. That's what our ancestors meant when they say as above, so below. You want to be able to see the way the universe communicates. And mushrooms helps you see the way the universe communicates through bringing a bridge to the masculine and the feminine part of your brain. So we talking about some high level shit that, you know, I'm not saying I heard nobody else talk about it because I haven't, but what we talking about is in a way that our people can understand what's going on. And like I said, man, I'm not the type of nigga to dress this shit up in unconscious, you know, garb. I'm giving two niggas straight up on some occult shit. You know, that's what I'm talking about. And it's magical. What kind of healing from shrooms? Man, everything. You name it. Sexual healing, emotional healing, psychological healing. You know how many people I've had shroom sittings with, did sessions for, walked through the door of psychedelics, and they first trip, you know, I'm talking about, I know people who are real stubborn. I know people who are very headstrong and in their mind, and if it doesn't make sense, they don't budge. And they tap into psychedelics, and they may have done a lot of toxic shit, like, you know, either done wrong to family members or didn't go about doing things the right way, cut people off, all type of shit. And then they get on mushrooms and they become humble. And they ego take a back seat. And they can start to process and experience themselves from another dimension and another level of thinking. And what they come back with, it humbles them. Like, I done had motherfuckers came back down. I had niggas in the middle of the, man, I need to call my mama. Man, I need to call my mom, tell her love, man. I need to call my dad, man. I need to call my dad, man. Fuck all that, man. I know we went through some shit, man. Niggas will call their peoples, man. You know what I'm saying? Niggas will call their people in real time. Niggas will be like, hey, man, you think it's good? Come on. Man, call them, just let them know you're on mushrooms, but you really having a spiritual experience, and you just want to let them know that you love them, blah, 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 like whatever, man. And niggas be coming back healing, man. You'd be surprised at the work that people do under the mushrooms, all in their mind, right? When they come back down, they integrate these experiences in the real world. And you start to see how things line up when you start to be able to trust how chaos works. So this is why when people talk this goofy shit, I ain't with that, man. I know how chaos works. I know how the universe works in terms of chaos. And it has a formula. And that formula is synchronicity. So synchronicity is the formula to chaos that lets you know what increments in time you are able to see what's happening. So we understand cycles. So we talking about some gangster shit. But if a nigga don't know what he talking about, then it's gonna sound crazy and then you're gonna deal with spookism to cover it up. But nah, give people the game. This shit is healing. I had a nigga tag me in a post from my hometown. One of my homies I went to high school with tagged me over the weekend. These, like I said, I've been doing this since I was 17. So imagine niggas from your high school tagging you in posts now, like, bro, why you ain't telling me this shit was healing? Now, I've been telling y'all for years. But it's when is the mind ready to accept the next level? And it's up to everybody. So this is why you hear terms like, you don't find mushrooms, mushrooms find you. So then you have people who may have access to mushrooms, and then this is a time where the conversation is becoming more abundant, where they might think about it more because it's seeming more normalized. So they might say, you know what, I might give it a shot. I see rappers talking about it because that's an influence. It's a thing that influences. So you got people thinking about it now. On my trip, I felt like old people were dead, like they had no life inside. Certainly gonna hit you up for the experience. Don't know many people out here in NYC, man. Yeah, my favorite is Reno Volcanoes, beats everything else. Okay. Shrooms so fucking powerful, I love it, for sure. Shrooms help me all the right places and help me be assertive, aggressive, all the right ones. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, be like, yup. Honestly, all this game you dropped helps me remind me that I'm not crazy, even though my immediate family tries to make me believe I am, and I speak my truth. Man, let me tell you, this a nigga whole life. When you on this journey and you the black sheep or you the one who's supposed to be going to the next level, you gotta understand why we're talking about mushrooms at a time and why this prompts these type of conversations, because you have to know that you're the strongest one right now doing the work. So you gotta know when you hear people talking goofy about all this shit, you gotta know that people are only where they at in their mind. You know, they only where they at in their mind, so they can only experience is what they know. So if you got people who never heard nothing about mushrooms other than propaganda and spookism, and they never done it, but you are the one who is strong enough to go out of a boundary or out of a lane that they stayed in out of safety, but they never got the chance to go past that level of enlightenment where they could really transform their life in ways that they never thought of, and you found your way to mushrooms, and your consciousness is saying, nigga, it's more out there to learn than what you know now, and don't be stagnant because you are already going to be killing yourself off right now. You are literally dying if you don't choose to grow. And you choose to grow, and what it looks like to other people is chaos and it's crazy and it's insane that you could choose to grow and go on a journey that seems to scare people because there's so much out there that people don't know, but you're willing to go on that journey to make yourself a better person. That scares people. So when you got your family who's close around you and they may project onto you, oh, that nigga into witchcraft, that nigga into this, okay, that's cool, dog. But what you do is you allow yourself and your lifestyle to show whatever the fuck y'all thought I was doing and that shit was crazy to y'all, look how much it made me a better person. So that's a journey in itself, because what happens is you learn to stand on that shit, nigga. Your lifestyle speak a different story that they may not never understand based on the fact that they ain't walked in your shoes. They didn't go on a journey to knock down them obstacles that you were able to say, I'm willing to do out of love. And that's really where it comes from. So when you're on this journey, you got so much that you got to deal with: family, friends, society, money, jobs, security. You know what I'm saying? All the goofy shit going on in the matrix, that mushrooms allow you to decompress and really centralize and focus on what is a priority in your life right now. And it helps you deal with that. How many people y'all done heard it? If y'all been doing research on mushrooms, y'all know that this shit deals with helping people reduce anxiety and depression. Because you got a lot of people out here who ain't living their real life. See, mushrooms allow you to be comfortable with yourself. So when you become comfortable with yourself, when you get into the world, you comfortable with everybody around you, or you allow yourself to adjust to the environment. Because why? Mushrooms is what they were calling an adaptogen. And I'm talking about not just psychedelics. I deal with all types of mushrooms. Y'all probably seen me post this before. I take this shit every day. I take this shit every day, and this ain't psychedelic mushrooms. What that say? 10 mushroom species. 3 what? Botanical adaptogens. So, how much do people really know about mushrooms, even outside of psychedelics, to talk the shit that they talk? They don't know. That's why we got to have real conversations, and we got to be able to put the truth out, because niggas don't know what they be talking about in the name of consciousness, and we ain't about to play games with them. Because this shit is healing everybody on all levels, and we are getting back to nature. We are getting back to nature in terms of what is nature. God, the spiritual energy that moves through us, is speaking to us. And when we connect with the literal neural network of the ground, of the earth, which is mushrooms, you start to tap into another type of intelligence, and you start to process information a totally different way. You know what I'm saying? I've healed my brother by merely showing love while I was on shrooms. I'm telling you. They really helped me tap into the database now that I purged, and I'm able to now ask questions and get answers immediately and travel to the inner worlds. Yep, that's right. I'm kind of white as fuck. My family are real conservative Christians. Hey, man. Stand on it. Have you ever astral traveled with mushrooms? All the time, man. Nigga be gone, nigga. I be astral travel, nigga. What, nigga? You Hey yo, what up, militant? I just love the questions people ask me because if niggas knew, like, dog, I'm a real shroom nigga. Traveling, nigga, 7-8 hours go by, you be like, where the fuck I was at? I knew I was at, boy. Nigga was on a goddamn journey. And then don't even bring Tantra into it. Now you fucking on mushrooms, nigga. 7-8 hours go by while you on mushrooms fucking, nigga. What? You and your partner merging, shape-shifting, nigga. What? What? The gods is taking over you, nigga. I done had goddesses come through. I done had goddesses. Archetypes come through and work through the masculine. Female goddesses work through a nigga because I got access to Kundalini. I got natural access to Kundalini on top. So it is crazy to be able to have these conversations about mushrooms and to be able to really talk about how spiritual they are without giving spookism. It's ways to do it. You just tell the truth. You know? Yeah, you can have bad experiences, but why can you have bad experiences? You can have bad experiences based on the fact that you are now tapping into an aspect of your mind and you're realizing the world around you is realer than what you think, and you have to learn to integrate that. So it's a thing that gradually happens the more you tap into it. But hell yeah, you know what I'm saying? Definitely astral traveling. I don't know anything about them, but I want to try. I want to heal, but don't want to be paranoid. See, I get what you're saying, but if you've been in this room and you heard me talking this whole time and you ain't never heard me say nothing about no spookism, everything I'm saying is with love, and you talking to a nigga who been on this journey, you don't have to worry about being paranoid. If you know that you are loved and you got love in your heart, love gonna sort itself out with you. You're gonna learn to really let yourself see what real love is, and it's not a romanticized thing. Love is the ability for you to sit back and say, whatever I'm going to go through, I'm not going to allow it to make me paranoid. And if I do get paranoid, those are triggers. So let me go deep into myself to realize why am I triggered? Why does that make me paranoid? What makes me paranoid? What do I feel like I can't control? You're going to go through and reassess yourself in all these ways under the medicine for you to really understand who you are. And so that paranoia will go. I'm not saying you won't have times of paranoia, but if you're going to be at your house chilling and you tapping into mushrooms and you're around somebody you love, you have nothing to worry about being paranoid. You have everything at your disposal to gain. Because fear shuts down melanin, and we have to know that. We have to know that fear shuts down melanin, so we have to really understand who we are and what we are. And we got to understand why I'm talking about you can't bring spookism into none of this shit, because we are magical motherfuckers. And the work that we're here to do is very magical, and it entails you learning yourself to the point where you know your talents and your gifts. So nobody can tell you nothing, and you know what to do, and you know how to move in alignment. You be traveling to 4D. We done met up twice in the last few months. You the same real ass nigga. Yeah, real shit, man. Salute, man. Yeah, man. Next that Lions, man, with the psychedelic shrooms. And man, listen. That's what I'm telling niggas, dog. Eat a little bit of this. With that. Out of here. Put it in your coffee or something. You out of here. I'm a wild nigga. If you gonna do some tantra shit, nigga, throw some maca root in that hole, nigga. It's on, man. My Mars in Leo. I got Mercury, Mars, and Venus in Leo. I think negative thoughts with the tree, so I hope that doesn't rule me out as a candidate for shrooms. Nah, not at all. You know, I'm a real stoner. I smoke a lot of weed. I smoke Delta 8 because I used to smoke a lot of regular THC weed, and I'm very psychic and I'm very clairvoyant, clairaudient, everything. I got 8 trines of Neptune. And as much as I smoke, if I was to smoke regular weed, nigga, I can't fuck with that. Y'all can have that. I smoke Delta 8 THC, my nigga, and CBD. And I be high as a kite, nigga, just like I was when I was on that shit. But I learned to understand how to focus that. So it's totally different. Mushrooms and weed is totally different, nigga. I can eat mushrooms all day. But you give me some of that goddamn shit y'all niggas be smoking, nigga, give me some of that LA weed my niggas be smoking, I'm out of here. Y'all gonna be like, yo, man, let's take this nigga to the hospital, man. That nigga is on his motherfucking Rain Man shit. Nigga, I be knowing all type of crazy shit. I be like, hey, somebody about to knock at the door. Boom, boom, somebody knock at the door. What? How you know? Bro, I don't know. This shit is crazy. I can't stop, nigga. My energy can't stop, nigga. I gotta pop muscle relaxers or something, nigga. I gotta drink some NyQuil to bring this energy down, nigga. But if I eat some motherfucking mushrooms, nigga, I'm wavy, nigga. I'm wavy. You know what I'm saying? I'm wavy because I've been doing it enough to know how to integrate all this shit and you flow through it. So I learned to work with my elementals. Now, do I smoke? I smoke good ganja, boy. You hear me? High as a kite. I got stupid, strong Delta 8 weed. And I'm dealing with people where we about to come out with a line at some point. So I'm a stoner. I'm an old weed grower. You know? I got moon rocks. I got all type of good shit, but it has to be Delta 8 because that particular receptor that Delta 8 triggers in my brain, I can be high as kite and function and do everything and get the same benefits from it. Give me some of that Delta 9, give me some of that regular THC. This nigga out here, nigga, I'm not good at math, nigga. Now I know math, nigga, because I know geometry, I can see everything. You be like, what the fuck? But I can't calm the energy down. I got a lot of that anyway, so you learn to use what you use, and it works for you. But the thing about it is, mushrooms help me be able to do it. Not saying I can't do it. I could smoke that weed and I could control it because I had to do that over the years. But I stay out of that lane because I don't need that particular weed now because I got what works for me, so it still works in tandem. But give me mushrooms, or I'm Gucci. I can't tell you the last time I had a bad trip, nigga. It's been over 20 years since I had a bad trip. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't had a bad trip. 2 puffs and I'm good. Hey, man, she out of here. She out of here. Yeah, man. I just wanted to get that off my chest, man. Talk some shit real quick. I'm happy everybody is open to the conversation of mushrooms and really dedicated to it. I could see this shit, man, the next 10 years, what I see in my mind in terms of black people, mushrooms, psychedelics, I see a different world. I see a world that I've been waiting on. I see a world that I've been, you know, just in my own journey, building towards in terms of just my life and doing my own work that makes a huge difference in terms of how we all see mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a huge market. There needs to be a medicine tasting like wine tasting. You know, to be honest, that type of shit is what we got in the works because that's the type of shit a nigga been on. And I'm a connoisseur. I'm a connoisseur of weed and I'm a connoisseur of fungus. And I really know what I be talking about because we really have those tastings and we really have those hands-on experiences with it because there's a way to do this shit when the conversation is real and there's not spookism that really brings this to a new way of us looking at how the culture is going to be for us in the future by how we set the foundation now. So, no spookism. We have a real honest conversation. We do things like that. Hey, y'all want to come out for a mushroom tasting? That right there sets the tone for how we now socialize this back into our psyche and our ancestral culture. Imagine we having a tasting. Oh, you want to try these? These are the Mazatepics. These right here out of Mexico. These right here, these right here with the old Mex was this. This is what it is. These are this, and you get to try that. Okay. All right, baby. All right, baby. That was a 0.5. You know what I'm saying? Just to give you a little taste. You want to pace yourself unless you're comfortable with taking the 0.7 or 0.6. You know what I'm saying? A gram of this if you really want to get in there and you really want to have a mushroom tasting. You know, and you learn about it. And we have these conversations where we all learn about it. We all feel comfortable. Imagine there are societies in indigenous cultures still to this day. Like, for example, these are the Escondidos, right? Those Escondidos are a strong one out of Mexico too, just like the Mazatepics. And the tribes out there, they family socially trip together. The kids been eating mushrooms since they was 5, 6, 7 years old. Little doses of the shit. So we have to change the way we think about mushrooms, and niggas call themselves conscious and be thinking they playing it safe by playing rules in the way of the Western world. We have to get back to who we are and know what the fuck this shit do for us. This shit is powerful. We have to have access to our psyche. We have to have access to our true ego and our true self and know how to use that. So in these societies, the family trips together. So what happens? The family trips together, and everybody get their shadow work out. Everybody get they you know, if your mom or your daddy, somebody doing some goofy shit that you ain't been liking, y'all on the mushrooms, y'all can talk with love now. Y'all can really be open. Hey, look, I ain't like how you talked to me earlier, man. That shit right there kind of fuck with me, you know. Not saying you was wrong. I'm not saying I was right, but, you know, I just really want to let you know how I feel. And, you know, you have these conversations. So imagine if that's how they do it in a certain society. The family first, right? Family first, and then you got the community in the neighborhood. Then you got that network outside of that expires. It transpires into the culture in the society. So imagine what that looks like, you know? So we have these real conversations now. Imagine what 10 years look like when your mom and daddy, your sister, your brother, everybody are able to now become acclimated to taking mushrooms in a way where it's not no spookism on it, and we really doing the healing. That's a whole nother world. Whole nother world. Oh, that's my shit. Yeah, man. Listening to good music like this, everybody always asks me for my playlist, man. We listen to Amapiano, man. I told y'all, Spirit told me at the beginning of 2020, the day before 2020, hey, man, listen to some different music with different vibes, and it's been Amapiano ever since. And that's what we on. When South Africa got put on this shit, it's a wave. This all I listen to on mushrooms, nigga. Y'all know what's up with me. I ain't gonna stop. I'm gonna just tell y'all the vibes, and this shit been what it is for everybody. We're using music as sound healing with the mushrooms. You know, there's a whole type of dynamics to mushrooms that we are now recreating the culture for. So, you know, salute to everybody being a stand-up individual, wanting to really go on this journey of healing, man. Y'all have no idea how magical just the process of being able to have access to you is. That's a powerful thing to have, that type of access to you. When you have that type of access to you, watch how this world shift just by us being able to interact with people. I'm talking about even in terms of how we interact online, right? We're talking about a high level of cognition when we can use our brain and we can use our ego in a healthy way, and we can use this intellect to really, you know, really usher in this new energy on this planet, man. It's a beautiful time right now. That's all. But I ain't want to be too long, man. But yeah, formula for a whole new world, man. I gotta get me a motherfucking Jamaican patty, nigga. My high ass need that, boy. But salute to everybody, man. You know, salute, man. Yeah, we going in, man. If y'all need readings, I got time. We doing readings. Everything, man. Just tap in with me, man. We gonna get right. Yeah, man. Salute to everybody. Tap in.